Today, I'm going to tell you a story. It's a story about two friends, John and Mike. Their bond was so deep, they loved each other more than brothers. But one terrifying afternoon in a forest, their friendship faced an ultimate test. Who passed and who failed? Let's find out. This isn't just a story about friendship, it's a story about trust, selfishness, and a choice made in a moment of life or death. Many years ago, there lived two inseparable friends named John and Mike. They grew up together, played together, and dreamed of staying by each other's side forever. One day, they needed to travel to a nearby town for work. There were two paths they could take. One was a long but safe road. The other was a shortcut through a dense, mysterious forest, which would save them a lot of time. There were many scary stories about that forest. People said it was home to fierce bears and other wild animals. No one dared to travel through it alone, even in broad daylight. Mike, who was a bit more adventurous and impatient, said to John, "Look, buddy, if we take the long road, we'll waste an entire day. Let's just go through the forest. As long as we're together, what is there to be afraid of?" John hesitated at first. He had a strange feeling about it, a feeling he couldn't explain. But he trusted his friend completely. He thought, with Mike by my side, what could possibly go wrong? So he agreed. Praying for a safe journey, the two friends stepped onto the path that led into the mysterious forest. Inside the forest, the world changed. Giant trees formed a thick canopy overhead, blocking out most of the sunlight. A damp, eerie silence filled the air, broken only by the chirping of insects and the calls of unseen birds. As they walked, John noticed that the crunch of dry leaves under their feet sounded strangely ominous. They were deep inside the forest when suddenly all the sounds stopped. The birds went quiet, the insects fell silent. This sudden, heavy silence sent a shiver down John's spine. He gripped Mike's arm tightly and whispered, "Mike, I don't like this. Everything has gone too quiet." Mike had noticed it too. He put a hand on John's shoulder and said reassuringly, "Don't be scared. I'm here with you, right? Nothing is going to happen." But just as he finished speaking, a terrifying roar echoed from a bush nearby. The sound was so powerful, it felt like the whole forest was shaking. In the next moment, what they saw made their blood run cold. A massive black bear emerged from the bushes and stared right at them. Its eyes seemed to glow like fire, and it began to walk slowly towards them. Frozen with fear, both friends forgot how to think. Mike, who had just been comforting John, was now overcome with a desperate need to save himself. Without saying a word to John, he ran to the nearest large tree and began to climb. He was so terrified that he didn't even look back to see what would happen to his friend. John didn't know how to climb trees. He looked up at Mike with helpless eyes and screamed, "Mike, buddy, don't leave me alone. Help me, I can't climb." Perched on a branch, Mike glanced down at John. His eyes were filled with fear and selfishness. In a trembling voice, he replied, "I'm sorry, John, but I have to save myself first. You're on your own." With that, he climbed higher and hid himself among the leaves. Hearing those words from the friend he trusted most in the world shattered John's heart. The one person he believed would never leave his side had just abandoned him to face death alone. Tears filled his eyes, but he knew this was no time to break down. He had to save himself. Suddenly, he remembered something his grandfather used to tell him as a child. Bears will not touch a dead creature. As soon as he remembered this, an idea flashed in his mind. Without wasting a second, he held his breath and lay perfectly still on the ground, pretending to be dead. By now, the bear was right next to him. It circled his motionless body, sniffing him all over. John felt his heart pounding in his chest, thinking it would burst any second. He could feel the bear's hot breath on his neck. The bear even nudged him with its giant paw, rolling him over once. But John clenched his jaw, held his breath, and didn't move a muscle. The bear examined him for a long time. When it was convinced that the man was dead, it lost interest and slowly walked away, disappearing back into the deep forest. Once the bear was out of sight, Mike carefully climbed down from the tree. He ran over to John and shook him, saying, "John, get up! The danger's gone!" John slowly opened his eyes. They were filled with deep pain and disappointment. He stood up silently, without saying a word.
Trying to hide his own guilt, Mike pretended to laugh and asked, "Wow, you're alive! I really thought you were done for. So tell me, what was the bear whispering in your ear when it got so close to your face?" John looked Mike straight in the eye. He took a deep breath and replied in a calm, firm voice, "The bear gave me some very valuable advice, my friend. It told me, never trust a friend who runs away and leaves you alone in a time of danger. They are not real friends at all." Hearing this, Mike's face turned pale with shame and humiliation. He realized that he hadn't just lost his friend, he had lost his own honor. He tried to apologize, but John stopped him. "There's no need for apologies, Mike. I think I can cross the rest of this forest on my own. You go your way." And with that, John didn't wait another moment. He turned and walked away, continuing his journey alone. Behind him, Mike stood frozen, left with nothing but his shame and regret. From that day on, their friendship was over forever. So, friends, this story teaches us a simple truth. A true friend is someone who stands by you when you're in real trouble. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like to show your support. And for more stories like this that teach us about life, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Your love and support are what keep us going. Stay safe, everyone.